All right, I got some elk. I have some elk in an oven a few steps that way, and I'll retrieve it in about 5 minutes. So I'm always curious why you guys come to the market. What it is that you like about the Saturday market here. I know you like the popcorn. That's a given, right?
The samples.
Yeah? Oh, the samples. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll make you stand through about 20 minutes of dialogue before I let you try the elk. Okay, Timber Butte Elk Ranch has some wonderful product, local farm-raised elk, and I have some of their short ribs, which is a cut they're now beginning to carry and offer to you. And I have some that I actually braised earlier. Now, I got up early for you, okay? You think I just throw this stuff together with no forethought, right? So anyways, I braised the elk already in equal parts tomato sauce and beef stock. Okay, and then I threw in some herb pepper blend from Starlight Herbs, okay? So I'll get that elk in a second. It's in the oven right over there, but we'll get it in about 5 minutes. But I'm gonna serve it with some pepper deli, which is an egg noodle. And I'm actually gonna boil that in some salted water. So always salt your pasta water, okay? You don't need to put oil in there, but generously salt it so it would taste like seawater. Because there's only one opportunity when you're cooking dried pasta for you to get flavoring inside that pasta, and it's as it hydrates. As it cooks in that liquid, it's taking on the moisture, right? And so if you salt it, you're already right there, and then when it comes time to serve it, you're real close to where your seasoning should already be. So again, this is a wide egg noodle, and it's gonna go very well with the elk short rib that I braised, okay? So as soon as that's up to a boil, we'll throw that in there. I'm also gonna, since we're kind of leaning towards an Italian thing, I have some focaccia. Ira Powers has the focaccia. It's a wonderful product. It's an Italian flatbread. And he tops this with Parmesan, and he puts some fresh herbs in there, some rosemary, and what else is in there? Oh my gosh, look at that rosemary, all right. Oh, see, I'm kind of slow, but I'll catch on eventually. Parmesan rosemary focaccia. All right, I forgot, I just read focaccia. And okay, focaccia. All right. Okay, so I also have some fresh basil, and it just so happens Ira had the basil also. And there's two different types of basil. I have the sweet basil here, and there's also some of this. What is this? Like an opal basil, purple basil, something? Or opal basil is a smaller leaf, I believe, and it's a little more spicy. But when I'm going to chiffonade, put a chiffonade on this basil, and what's a chiffonade? French for to shred like rags or tear like into rags. And so usually when I cut basil, I just don't chop it any which way like parsley. But if you stack the leaves and roll it up like this, you know how to do this, right? Oh. Anyways. I know what he was doing in the 60s. Oh, anyways. So you roll up the leaves like so, and just run your knife through. Keep your fingers out of the way. Just run your knife through like that, and I'm going to leave it in those nice ribbons. Okay, that is a chiffonade. Okay, the focaccia. Sorry, Parmesan rosemary focaccia. I'm just going to cut into pieces like so. And if you want, you can toast these. It's going to go nice with, maybe I should let you try your elk on some of the focaccia, right? You want to go grab that elk? Thanks. All right, you have your hot pads, right? Okay. So I have the elk in I rewarmed it for you over there in an oven. So, are we up to temp here? All right, let's boil some egg noodle. And go like so. Okay, questions so far? Don't you think it's a good idea that you can actually shake the hand of the farmers who are feeding you? Yeah. Right? You can actually know the person who's raising the elk and ask them about their practices. You know, the person, you know, whether they're doing the baking of some of the sweets or the bread here at the market, you can actually look them in the eye, and that level of accountability is a wonderful thing. So, frankly, you don't get that in the grocery store, right? I mean, regularly you hear about food scares, right? Whether it's the tainted spinach or the tomatoes, or oh no, it was the peppers, or the milk from China, or the
peanut butter.
Right? The peanut butter. I mean, what is it this month, okay? But if we're trying to purchase more of the products local, fresh, from a supplier that you know, then is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing at all. So, all right, so again, I have some elk coming this way. I did a little prep on it earlier for you, okay? I braised it in equal parts. These are the elk short ribs. I'll show you them in a second. Equal parts beef stock and tomato sauce is what I used as a braising liquid. Now what's a braise? Braise is a moist cooking method, low and slow for an extended period of time. Remember with braising, thank you sir. Very nice. Awesome. Braising is a moist cooking method, is low and slow for an extended period of time. Remember 3 threes for braising. Or first of all, let me talk about the cuts that one would, the cuts of meat that are suitable for braising. Okay, here's your braised. All right, I threw a sage leaf in there too. Okay, I threw a sprig of rosemary in there too. But primarily, you think I'm trying to get one over on you, right? No, I have nothing to hide. Okay, so my braising liquid was equal parts what? Tomato what?
And water.
Flippin' A, man. Were you listening?
Just walked up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, he's being a comedian. I tell him to say that, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and so no, what we have is tomato sauce and beef stock. Okay? Equal parts tomato sauce and beef stock. So, anyways, here's our, I'm gonna keep it warm for you, okay? Because you want to try a nice warm sample, right? I'll let you taste it in a minute. So, when it comes to braising, you want to use an economical, braising is suitable for economical cuts of meat. Read less expensive, okay? Now you're gonna pay good dollars for a tenderloin, you're gonna pay good dollars for some nice steak you're gonna throw on the grill, right? Because you get off what you put on. So don't cut any cost there. But when it comes to braising, you can take an economical cut of meat. Needs a couple minutes. When it comes to braising, you can take an economical cut of meat, whether it's some short ribs like this wonderful elk from right over there. By the way, turn around, everyone. Look over there. Wave, Diana. Okay, that's Diana. Her and her husband have a herd. What's your herd up to now? 30, 40? 41. Nice. Okay, local product, right? So that's a good thing? Okay, so anyways, when you take something like chuck or shoulder or, pork butt, pork shoulder, beef chuck, short ribs, elk, product like this, and they're muscles that get more work. You want to braise them because then 3 hours later, 4 hours later, you have a wonderfully succulent, tender product. A chuck steak, for example, I would not throw on a grill. Okay? Those muscles get a lot of work, and grilling is not suited for a tougher cut. Again, braising is. So I braised in equal parts what?
Tomato.
Nice! Very good. Tomato sauce and beef stock. You can braise in beer, you can braise in wine, you can braise in water if you want. But why not give yourself a head start on the flavor by using something that has flavor? When it comes to braising, again, braising is the technique, the method. Okay? So if you ask, do you have a recipe? Well, frankly, I'm actually trying to give you something more. I am trying to give you something better than a recipe, which is to teach you the principle, the concept, the idea. What is a braise? Now, if you want the recipes, it just so happens Laura here is capturing some footage, and 1 week later has the on disc for you $5 each, okay, of the 2 demos from the previous Saturday. I've never sold anything at the market, and I'm still not, but Laura is, okay? So anyways, Laura's nice enough to capture the footage for you, and within the week, I'll edit it, and they're 1 hour. So if you want the recipes, there you go, okay? Hand over the cash, all right? Right? But I'm teaching you something better. I'm teaching you the principle, the idea, the concept. And braising, I want you to remember 3 threes. Remember this, liquid coming a third of the way up the pot, 300 degrees for 3 hours at least. Okay? Again, 3 threes. Liquid coming how far up the pot? I'm sorry, the meat. I'm sorry, did I say pot? The meat. A third of the way up the meat, not the pot. Oops, correct myself. Okay, up the meat. So in other words, it's not swimming. It's not a stew. Now a stew, loosely defined, is a braise. Sure. So is a pot roast. Okay? But you want liquid coming a third of the way up the meat for how long?
3 hours.
At least 3 hours. And how many degrees?
300.
Yeah. So you don't want it too hot. You cannot expedite a braise. Low and slow for an extended period of time, okay? Very good.
Cooking pot won't do the slow cooker won't do that.
Yes, a slow cooker will do that. Yep.
But that's
A crock pot can do it for you. Sure. I use ceramic bakeware in the oven. You can braise on the stove, you can braise in the oven, I don't care. But frequently, I will leave the house, go upstairs, take a nap, or whatever. Frankly, I'd rather have something in the oven than on the stove. You decide, I don't care, I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. Well, I'm telling you how to do it, but you're gonna make the executive decision, okay? I just don't want you to come back, dude, I burned my house down, dang you. I braised something, darn it. I never got to taste it, but I braised, you know.
The house.
Okay, so I have the pappardelle, the egg noodle that I'm gonna serve this with. Maybe.
Did you make those egg noodles?
I did not.
They're awfully
But
light.
I did not make them. However, you know what? I am gonna make some fresh pasta one of these coming weeks using some of the fresh eggs and some flour and show you how to do it.
But are those frozen? I don't see them that white.
No, they were dried. Dried egg noodle, pappardelle. Yeah. I think I had purchased these at, I don't know what store, I don't know where I get stuff. I just find a white egg noodle. But you can make, your ratio is going to be roughly, if you're going to make your own pasta, use all-purpose flour and egg. 1 egg, roughly, per half cup of flour. There's some wonderful farm fresh eggs here at the market. Now, if you want to use semolina, Durham semolina, which is a particular wheat flour, then you can use water. Use water and semolina, or if you want to make an egg noodle, use all-purpose flour and egg. Again, the ratio being approximately half cup of flour to 1 egg. All right. I'm gonna just lightly hit these with olive oil. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I made some herb-infused oils. I have olive oil that I whirled in the blender, a handful of fresh basil and a handful of fresh parsley. I made 3, over the last week I made 3 oils for garnishing plates. I'll talk about those in a minute. Again, a handful of fresh basil, a handful of parsley to that much olive oil. Whirled in the blender about a minute. Okay, and then since I didn't have my strainer, there's the solid matter right there. Okay? But otherwise you would strain that out, okay? But I'm not overly concerned about it. Should I be? No. You're cool, right? You all right? Okay. Yeah, and you're gonna taste it, so hang tight, all right? So I have the elk here. I'll talk about that more in a minute. The egg noodle here, gonna hit it with basil and parsley oil. And did I salt the pasta water?
Yep.
Yes, definitely. It aids in the flavor, and we're almost there on the seasoning. I will give it a, oh yeah, I put a little bit of salt in my herb-infused oils. Okay, so it tastes like a more finished product. Now those oils, one of them is a curry ginger oil, and you can get these ones, you can get the dry spices from Florence right there. Turn around, say, hey Florence, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey Florence! Yeah. Wave, there's Florence right there. Okay, so this oil actually is a ginger curry oil. She has ginger powder and curry spice, and I used a 2-to-1 ratio. 1 part, for this much oil, I used 1 tablespoon of ginger, ground ginger, 2 tablespoons of curry spice, okay?
And how much salt in each of those?
To taste, 1/4 teaspoon, taste.
Teaspoon.
Use salt. You don't use salt to make food taste salty. Salt food to heighten other flavors. It enhances it. Okay. This is a Southwest chili oil. I use their Southwest spice and their chili powder. One tablespoon of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of their Southwest spice. Okay. And so you'll see why I have those on hand when I plate a sample for you. I need to know what you guys are eating, right?
Braised ribs.
Yeah. Okay, so is braising a dry cooking method or moist? Moist cooking method. Is it something you can speed up or hurry? No. You need at least how many hours? 3. At least 3. At least. I mean, sometimes I'll have stuff for like 5 hours, you know? So 3 is the short side. All right.
Can you overcook a braise?
Can you overcook a braise? Yes, you can, but not so much to where you go darn it, and now we can't eat it. It's not like that. It's just that there comes a point where you will then start to make stock. In other words, the flavor from the meat. There's a wonderful exchange between the liquid, in this case the tomato and beef stock, and the meat. There's a wonderful interaction going on there. There will come a time, however, where you will have made stock. All that flavor will be in the liquid and the meat will be relatively flavorless. Not entirely, because you leave it kind of hanging out there for a day and it's all going to remarry. But you can overcook a braise and the meat is somewhat drier even though it's in a moist environment. Okay, it is possible to dry something out and have it tough and chewy even though there's liquid hanging around. Okay, people commonly do that with chicken breast. Chicken soup. You boil a chicken soup with chicken breast, which is so lean, then you have tough, chewy chicken, even though it's cooked in water. Okay, so you can overdo a braise, but really, dude, you're talking 6 hours, man. That's a lot of latitude, okay? It's a lot of latitude. You gotta at least double that cooking time. So, how you doing? You guys are in Porterhouse a lot, huh? Yeah. All right. Okay, so... Okay, so I'm going to serve you some elk here in a minute, all right? So again, Timber Butte Elk Ranch, right over there. They have wonderful local product, and I braised some of the short ribs for you. Okay.
Teaspoon of salt in that much, that's really quite a bit.
I'm sorry? Are you complaining?
No, I just wondered.
Oh my God.
It's not just a little, it's not
All
just
right,
a little bit,
you can
right?
have her sample if you want.
I just, if you needed that much,
I am simply
needed to know.
seasoning to taste. I'm sorry.
complains about me, too.
It looks like more because I'm going like
But you
this,
think it is about
right?
I
All
wanna
right,
get your
guys.
I want to get your good taste.
You guys are welcome to help yourself to any of these recipes and stuff back here. And there's some of the cards and literature from those who provide me products to use here at the market. And no, the vendors do not pay me to promote their stuff. Hey, if I found something good, I'm going to tell you where to find it. Like the wood cutting boards here. These here, I use in a commercial setting. I use regularly. I had 2 boards down at the Senate for the entire session back in, before the Capitol went under renovation. I would use them 5 days a week for months on end. And I just simply wash them in hot water, dry them, and at least once a week hit them with mineral oil. And you treat them kindly and they'll treat you kindly. And so you want to see Richard right there with the Heritage Woodcraft. Excellent product, man. Excellent product. And so no, the vendors do not pay me to say that, okay? Oh, dang it. And then you can use your handy dandy. I'm a slacker. I'm sorry. He's got to keep me in line. He's got to keep me in line. Okay, so here's your elk, guys. How many of you have had elk? How many of you have tried elk? How many of you eat elk regularly? Okay. How many of you have a companion maybe who goes out and harvests one out, traipsing around in the woods, right? Okay. This is farm raised, and so they control the diet, and so it's not as gamey as one that is living in the wild. It's very agreeable, very user friendly, and I showed you a wonderful. They're so darn good, I just inadvertently picked up the bread. Okay. So here's some elk short ribs that I braised for you. So again, braising, again, moist environment, low and slow, extended period of time, right? 3 threes. Liquid coming a third of the way up to meat, at least 3 hours, 300 degrees, covered in the oven, okay? I'm gonna serve up, how might I plate something like this? First of all, yes, some focaccia from Ira. Here, read that to everyone, okay?
Okay.
I forgot to tell you these were interactive
You're
demos.
not a very good shield.
Parmesan, rosemary, piccata. Yeah.
Nice. Focaccia. Very good. All right. It's kind of like we're like at Pike Place Market, right? Hey, consistent. Okay, so here's why I have oils. Because I can do something pretty on the plate, like so. Right here, and again, this is a ginger curry oil. Now I wouldn't use all 3 of these on one plate because I have competing garnishes and it starts to look cluttered and like you're trying too hard. Okay, so there's something to be said for simplicity and minimal. But I see how I have 3 different colors, and what I'll do is when I go home, I will actually, if I want to use these at the market, like next week and then the following week, I'll go put these in the freezer. And then I'll pull them out when I come to the market on Saturday. Okay? So, because with these 3, it's nice. If I have a handful of fresh chives, I'll make some chive oil. And again, I just use that much olive oil and a handful of fresh herbs, and that's how I got this basil parsley oil. So anyways, I wouldn't put all 3 of those on one plate just because. It doesn't mean you can't. I don't care. I don't care how you garnish your food. But it's just something to play with. So when I plate pasta, I'll usually give it a twist and release, like so. And then when I come back here with some elk, again, these are elk short ribs, and I guess here's the king's portion, right? That's not me, by the way. I don't eat the whole thing.
You don't?
No, I usually hand it to a very nice individual. I have yet to determine who that very nice individual is. So I'll put like this tip jar out here, and then I'll determine who that very nice individual is. I don't want your money, but Laura does. Laura wants your money, okay, for the discs. Last week's, were you guys here last week? Who saw last week's demo? Lobster, fresh lobster. Dave at Porterhouse. I had 3 live lobsters here, and in the 30 minutes time, you saw them go from live to cooked to in a lobster fried rice. And other options, the variations I would have talked about. So here's what I have. Here's what I have in the way. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to throw fresh basil in here, or just for kicks. I don't know. Here we go. Just for kicks, yeah. That doesn't mean I forgot to. Oh. And then we need some color, okay? So I'm going to use the red one, the chili oil. Again, it's their Southwest spice and their chili powder, right over there, Starlight Herbs. Is it hot, spicy hot?
Yeah.
Not really. Not really. Oh, just for kicks, let's do 2, okay? Okay, there you go. So there's an example of how one might serve something like this. It's almost good enough to eat, huh?
Yeah. Almost.
Does that work for you? Yeah? All right, so here's some elk. I'm gonna let you guys try this, but I'm gonna taste and season, okay? Okay, so here's how they are on that rack when you buy them from Timber Butte, right over there. And that's nice, right? That's a nice, right? That's a decent, you know. Try it? Yeah? Tell me what you think.
Oh. Jim, give us a seat.
He knows us, man.
Dude, me, not you. Trying to make a new friend, man. You guys are old noodles, dude. Oh, sorry.
She almost takes our
What you complaining? What you complaining? Gee whiz. Report on it. Tell me about it. Tell them about it.
Good.
Yeah? Does that work for you?
Excellent.
Herb, pepper bland, tomato sauce, and beef stock.
I bought some. Maybe I'll use mine tonight. 2 weeks
Oh,
ago, I bought
good.
some.
You have. You've been very good. You've been very good. And if you want, we'll talk salt after.
Well, I just didn't want to get too little. I want to have it taste like yours.
There's only one way to know. I don't even know how that tastes until I taste it. Yeah, because it's like taste. Okay, a little more taste. Okay. Okay, so again, we have elk, and I've cut these into little riblets for you to try.
It looks familiar, doesn't it?
I hear that line so much. Oh, can I get another one to take to my wife? And my 4 kids. Gee whiz, man. All right, so at 12 o'clock, I will do another demo. 12 or 12:30, I don't know, sometime thereabouts. I'll do another demo, and I'm going to use something from Porterhouse. I'm not sure what yet.
Lobster.
This is, oh man, I can't serve that now.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Thank you.
What happened?
I splashed on my plate.
Oh.
It looks cool.
That is looking. You guys want to try this?
Yes, we're waiting.
What is this?
Braised short ribs.
Braised elk short ribs. From where? Where did I obtain such product? All right, dude. Your house is at noon, dude. All right.
Hey, I came
Right here.
And it's
Okay.
very healthy.
It's very healthy. It's much more nutritious, high in omega-3s than your average feedlot. Yeah, it's lean.
Better than fish and chicken.
I tell you, it's awesome. It's high in omega-3s.
Very low in
See, the natural diet is not going off to the feedlot like your average steer is harvested for that cheap beef that you're buying in the grocery store, right? It's not cheap. Okay. So tell me though something. Is it worth spending a couple extra bucks on high quality stuff? There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, maybe. I don't know. Yes? I say yeah. I say yeah.
There's no
Okay?
fat in it.
Now, granted, any country in the world is going to need cheap calories, okay? With what, for people to obtain a meal, okay? But when possible, if we have an extra buck, why not? And then if we're spending a little more on our goods, we might actually even eat a little less and be more selective and choose some seasonal stuff. And these aren't bad things, guys.
Yeah, you use less meat and have better stuff.
Very good. Perfect. Well said. I'm going to hire you as a spokesperson, please. All right, guys. So I'm going to let you try this.
Help here?
I don't know. You want to help? Yeah, go ahead and wash up. Serious, I would have said that to any one of you that walked in here. I would say wash up, then you are welcome to help.
Does that mean I get more meat if I help?
No, but had you been a nice guy and offered without asking that question, yes. All right. So here's what we'll do. We'll let them grab their own there. But why don't I have you put a noodle in each one of these? Okay, if you stand on my left, there you go. He's going to take the helm, and I'm going to kind of see what it's like out here. What kind of noodles? Okay, talk about food for a second.
Well, I don't know much about food, but I know how to serve it.
Dude, how'd that taste? How'd that elk taste?
Well, this person gets a bonus here.
Nice.
Shoot that. You need your electric fly swatter, Jim. You should bring that here, Cordell, and it electrifies flies right on the spot.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right.
It's really fun, isn't it? We have one. You will.
All right, guys.
What kind of noodles are these?
These are pappardelle. They're a wide egg noodle. Okay. How many people? Am I gonna have to break these down a little? Am I gonna have to?
Yeah, your crowd's getting bigger.
Yeah, my crowd's getting bigger because I'm giving out food. These are the people that aren't necessarily interested in culinary education, but rather.
Culinary appetites.
Hey man, hold it right. All right, this ain't Costco, folks. Right? So they don't put you through a cooking class prior to demo, right? They're just sort of they're just putting out cheap samples, guys.